They're doing this back and forth on purpose. They raise your hand here, and then somebody over there.
The comment was
They're all laughing at me.
the comment was made that you should have gotten roller skates before this started.
I thought it broke an ankle.
My comment for you today is, first of all, thank you for the time that both of you have put in, along with our committee members, to present this for us. You aren't members of our congregation, no brothers of the Wells. So to take the time objectively, so thank you for that. My question is, now that you've been with us for so long, and you are simply concept drawers, needs analysis people, how does your work wrap up now for us? Does this conclude your work with our committee? You aren't architects, so you would not be in the building process. Oh, you are? Okay, I'm sorry. Didn't do my homework. But what would be your connection? Would we need to re-interview you to continue? Is that an option for our congregation that we could continue working with you? How do you wrap up now for your job?
Well, what we were hired for was to do this study. And so that work is completed, and we'll be wrapping up with your planning committee and their presentation to the church council moving forward. We certainly would like to continue to assist and develop the plans, and if you elect to do something on any of the options, I've worked on this church before. When the chancel was renovated years and years ago, I was fortunate enough to work on some of the painting and decorating project here. So we'd love to continue to work with you. So, but our first phase work is completed now, and you don't owe us anything more than what the council had approved and what you've paid us up to this point. Just one comment that I made early on in the presentation. I just wanted to reiterate, as you mentioned, as a brother in the Wells. I believe, having seen your congregation now for upwards of 40 years, that God is giving you an opportunity here in Columbus. 40 years ago, Columbus was not as close to Madison or as close to Fond du Lac as it now is. And you've seen the amount of new homes. We're in a very, very difficult economy currently. But Columbus, I believe, is going to grow. And that gives you in Zion a wonderful opportunity to bring people into Zion who are either Wells members already moving into Columbus or who are not Wells members. For those people who are not Wells members, sometimes facilities can make a difference in how people select church homes or how they're invited into facilities. My grandfather was a Wells member at a church in downtown Manitowoc years and years ago, and they elected to do a mission congregation, Bethany, on the outskirts of Manitowoc. And he told me repeatedly how some people told him that he was very foolish for leaving his congregation in downtown Manitowoc and joining the mission congregation, being one of the leaders. Why would Manitowoc ever need another Wells congregation when they already had a couple of them? But I think that, as Otto mentioned, his experience in Sun Prairie, there are opportunities the Lord gives us, and sometimes we need to seize those opportunities. And having watched Zion here for the last 40 years, I do believe in coming years, whether it's now or 5 years from now or 25 years from now, Columbus will be a much different community, and I think Zion has a wonderful opportunity to seize on that opportunity.
Just another thought for the planning board and pastors also, not to just throw your work out the window, but you guys are having a voters meeting tomorrow, and we're also going to present the concepts from MSA. Tomorrow you're going to present it to the councilmen and voters. Are we presenting simply these 3 options? Well, I suppose we have to vote what we're going to do anyway. Now that I'm thinking aloud into a microphone. I guess thinking too, like, would we throw out there, I don't know, with your experience with building churches and schools, what if we just bulldoze and start the whole complete project? Would, just take down the school completely?
Kelly, at this point, right now, we haven't decided anything.
Okay, I just didn't know what we presented to.
We're looking at everything. There has been no decision made. And that is something that's going to be determined in the future. We have not reached that point yet. Jeff, you want to say something?
Yes, sir. We discussed this for a long time on how we even approach. Where do we start? Yes, we could bulldoze everything over. We just assumed nobody would like to hear that. That's always an option. Then we need more land and obviously maybe a higher budget for that. This could be scary enough for a lot of people. The fact is, having the MSA bring more of this to our attention is quite an eye-opener because our properties are not like brand new buildings, obviously. We lose a lot in heating and air conditioning. You're going to spend a lot to get a new building that will be efficient. We have to weigh that out. We could do nothing. Nothing has been done for a long time. Everybody knows that. Our goal was to come up with options. This is what we selected. If you would like us to do something else, like look for land, we need some direction. Our goal was to do a plan as it was indicated. I think Don Lamb would like to say a few things. I'll turn it over to Don.
We could have showed up here tonight with about 17 or 200 different options. There's as many options as there are people out there, at least. We thought that the best thing to do would be to narrow it down to three. If it is three, it's almost just two options. But the more options you have, the tougher the decision gets. As the planning board, as a planning committee, we took it on ourselves as leaders to try and condense it down to the best option that we came up with. Yeah, there's, like I said, we could have a different option for each one of you that are here, but we just thought that the best thing that we could do would be to come up with the 2 or 3 best solutions to this issue. Does that?
Yes, thank you. I apologize if I jumped the gun.
No, that's fine. If I understand right though too also that tomorrow's meeting, we're just gonna, if anybody has any further discussions at the meeting tomorrow night, that it's not gonna be anything decided, nothing like that. It's just further discussion if anybody has any further. Is that correct?
That's correct. There will be nothing presented tomorrow night. If somebody wants to discuss what they heard here today, that's fine. We're welcome that. But there's no recommendation. Don is saying this is the presentation. This is right here.
I was just going to say with that, with what was just said, we also have to understand you've just been thrown. Look at all the information you've just learned in the last hour and a half. Would you want to do this right now? Absolutely not. You need time to pray about this, to discuss this with your own family, see all the different things that were there. Look around us. There's a lot of people from our congregation who we rely on to be brothers and sisters in Christ who aren't here. They need time to be able to see this information and be able to digest it. We need to give our church council some time to be able to look at this and take their own conclusions from this. Yes, there